Okay, qualitative data. Our objective here, organize qualitative data in tables. Well, let's start off with reminding ourselves what we know. Well, we know the definition of qualitative or categorical data. It is data that represent attributes or characteristics, generally non-numerical data, but that's a general statement. Qualitative variables describe something. Let's note, arithmetic operations cannot be performed on qualitative variables, and or the results of these operations have no meaning. So example, if we're talking about, as we will be in a second, body parts, we can't add and subtract wrist plus back plus hip, etc. The results have no meanings if it's numerical data like zip codes. Adding, subtracting zip codes doesn't get us anywhere. So qualitative data is data that mathematical operations don't do anything with. Okay, so let's define what a frequency distribution is, and then let's do one. A frequency distribution is a list of each category of data and the number of occurrences, or the count, or the frequency for each category of data. So I have here an example. A physical therapist wants to determine the types of rehabilitation required by her patients and where that rehabilitation is located. To do so, she obtains a simple random sample of 30 of her patients, and she records the body part requiring rehabilitation. We're going to construct a frequency distribution of the location of the injuries. So here are the 30 pieces of data. Again, note it's qualitative data, attributes or characteristics, in this case, body parts. And we're gonna list those here, tally up how often they each occur, and then we'll write that tally number as a frequency. So first up, I'm just gonna kind of go left to right. Looks like I first see back. And how many times do I see back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've tallied them. I got a frequency. Now let's go to the next one. I see hand. And I'm just going to go ahead and move this forward because I've already done it. And you can certainly understand what's happened. Next one is wrist. The body part of wrist occurs twice, so 2 tallies and a 2 for the frequency. The next one is the groin as I move top to bottom, so back, hand, wrist, groin. The groin only occurred 1 time. Groin goes down, I think next is elbow. The elbow occurs only once. After elbow, I think we're going to go with shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like shoulder occurs 4 times. Following shoulder, we have hip. And the hip in this list occurred twice in her sample of 30 random patients. And then we have the knee, and the knee occurs 5 times. So we tally them up if we're going through, we write down 5 for the frequency. And then finally the neck, and the neck only occurs in 1 of her patients. And so there is our frequency distribution, our frequency table. Okay, now we want to make sure we have everybody. So I've circled random sample of 30. We need to add up these numbers to make sure we have all 30. This is a good check for ourselves. 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30. Got them all. There you go. So there is a frequency table or a frequency distribution. Okay, let's talk about relative frequency. Okay, here we go on the back. A relative frequency distribution is this similar thing, a list of each category. But as opposed to frequency, we want to list the relative frequency, which is the percentage that each of these body parts takes place, written as a decimal. Okay, so the percentage written as a decimal for each category of data. Now, we had 30. We know this is 30. Whoops, let me make sure you can see that. We know that this is 30 down here when we add up the frequency. When we sum the relative frequencies, when we sum the percentages as decimals, we want to make sure we sum to 1. 1 as a decimal is the same thing as 100%. We want everything included when we're over here. So relative frequency. Well, this body part, the back, was in 12 of the patients, 12 out of 30. Okay, so the relative frequency is 0.4, which, as we know as a percent, is 40%. So 40% of the patients talked about the back being the body part, and we write the relative frequency down as the decimal equivalent, which is 0.4. Okay, we'll do the same thing, 2 out of 30. And I'm going to do I'm going to use there's repeating decimal here. This is 0.06 repeating. You could round it to 0.07. I'm going to leave it as the exact number, 0.06 with the 6 repeating. And we're going to continue. 2 out of 30 for the hip. 1 out of 30 for the groin. 1 out of 30 for the elbow. 4 out of 30 for the shoulder, which I think is 1/3 repeating. I've already done the calculation 4 divided by 30. Okay, 2 out of 30 we've already done a couple times up here. 0.06. 2 out of, whoops, this one's 5. I got myself kind of on a copy roll. 5 out of 30 is 1/6, the 6 repeats, so 16666, and again 1 out of 30 we've done before. 0 with the 3 that repeats forever. Okay, so just as just to speak to this again, if I were to add up all of these relative frequencies in their decimal form, I would have a sum of 1. If I were to add up all these relative frequencies in their percent form, I would have 100%, and that's the goal. We want everyone. Okay, StatCrunch does this for us as well. Okay, these data are available in StatCrunch, Chapter 2, 2_1_table 1. Let's just recreate this table in StatCrunch, and we'll use stat tables frequency to do that. Okay, so I'm in StatCrunch. My textbook, whoops, I should go down here. My textbook data sets. And let's go into chapter 2. And here is 2_1_table 1. I will click there and hope it works. It did. Okay, so here is all that data. You can see as I scroll down here, there's the 30 pieces of data right here. And I want to recreate that relative frequency table. So we'll go to Stat. And yours may look a little different, same idea. The Stat menu, I then go to Tables. And then I'm going to go to Frequency. Okay. Select my columns. Okay, well the column is the data. All right. And I don't need to worry about grouping by anything, I don't think. One of the things I think I like to do, I guess I'd like to group by, no, I don't, never mind. I like to order by worksheet. I like to order it by how the worksheet listed it. Yeah, generally speaking. Okay, then let's compute. Mine's over here on the right. And there you have it. So there's the exact same data table. Here are the data. There's your frequency table. Notice they mentioned the count, and here is your relative frequency distribution. Of course, they're going out to whatever 10 decimal places, and they're rounding the final, but we know that these numbers go on forever. So there you have it.